Uncertainty podcast by Nigel Baker.
It's the Agile Christmas Special. Welcome to the Age of Uncertainty Agile Christmas Special. Now, Christmas has many meanings for many different people. For me, it's about friends, it's about family, it's about community, it's about giving, it's about sharing, it's about remembering loved ones, sometimes long gone. And this year's been uniquely hard for many people out there. So what can I do about that? Well, I've done this video. I've reached out across the Agile community, across the Scrum world, and brought together 7 famous faces to share with you their own views on an Agile Christmas. Now, some of these Agile Christmas presents are actual presents. They're things you can buy. Some of them are just the presents of ideas, and 1 or 2 of them are just a bit of silly Christmas fun. But I do hope you enjoy them. And if you hang around till the end of the video, you'll see my own special Christmas present for you all. So first, let's visit my oldest Agile friend. I've known him for over 20 years. I worked with him before Agile. He's the guy who mentored me to the Certified Scrum Trainer program nearly 14 odd years ago. He's a great fan of improvisation, of creativity. His name's Paul Goddard, and his little Christmas present is coming up next. Good morning, Paul.
Hello, Nigel. How are you? Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, very well. Getting into the Christmas spirit, as you can see with my Christmas jumper on. Hang on a minute. Look, can you see? Can you see my lights? I thought I'd put my... You can't really see it on camera, but they are twinkly lights on my penguin.
Oh, they're very good. That's very good. I've got I'm following the bear here. Follow the bear. There we go. Of course, and why wouldn't you? Of course. So, Paul, thank you for coming. I really appreciate this. I was just wondering, what's your Christmas surprise, your Christmas present for the world?
Right, here we go, Nigel. This is a one-off. This is just for you today, very special. This is the Sprint Planning Kickstart. All right, this is a new set of cards that I've got very recently just launched. I thought, wouldn't it be great if we actually demonstrated this today? I can run a quick game with you. So to give you a quick idea how it works is, this is something a Scrum team or an Agile team can play just before they start a planning session. And the idea is to kind of get your creativity going and kind of get that energy level up just when you're about to start a very difficult, very taxing planning session. So I thought I'd try it on you today.
That sounds amazing, Paul. Can we give it a go?
Let's have a go. Let's try it out. No, but who knows what might happen. So let's open the deck. So inside the cards, it's a bit like a card trick. Now as you can see, they've got the cards here. I look like a proper magician. Look, I fan the cards. Look, there's lots of different cards in the deck, but I'll shuffle them for you here. Can you confirm with the audience that you haven't seen these cards before, please, Nigel?
I have never seen these cards before. I do not know what's on them.
Thank you very much. So, completely fresh deck, never been opened. Nigel's got no idea what's about to happen. So we shuffle the deck like this, and then I'm going to flick through the deck, Nigel, and ask you to shout stop when you want me to stop.
Stop.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to read this one out. Okay, right. Are you ready for this? We might need a pen and paper for this. This one is called Bottoms Up. So, in this game, each player has just 5 seconds, Nigel, to draw the word below upside down. You must draw the image upside down.
Oh, draw this word upside down.
No, not draw the word, draw the image upside down. So I'm going to say a word. That word will be an object. You've got to then draw that image upside down.
Upside down. Okay, ready. I'm ready. I'm good. In 5 seconds, yeah?
Yeah, so let's just a bit more on the card. Let me read it to you. Only read the word below when all players are ready to start. The player reading this card, which is me, will also be the timekeeper. So I've got to keep the time here somewhere. Once the time box is complete, players can flip their image and spend a minute or so sharing your drawing. So then you're going to turn it upside down to see what it looks like. Yeah. So here we go. Are you ready to start, Nige? You've got 5 seconds. The word is teapot. Go.
There you go. Done. And
stop. Okay. Can you hold it up to the camera?
Which way round?
I don't know.
So you drew it that way. Very good.
Mine's not. So if I show you on my camera, that's mine upside down.
Oh.
That's not too bad. Not too bad. Your spout's a bit funny, Nigel, I must say. I don't think you get a good cup of tea out of that one.
I hear that all the time. There we go.
I just don't. Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult to pour. I would have thought, Nigel. It's quite difficult to pour. So there's a little bit extra on the card here. I'll just read this out. This is based on the concepts from Betty Edwards' book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. This exercise is designed to help strip us of our conditioned perspective for looking for recognisable features and focus on the visual reality of the problem in hand. So the idea is to kind of re-engage your brain in a slightly different way to get that kind of creative element going for what could be hopefully a very creative planning session.
Yeah, because that's what we want, isn't it? We want creative planning sessions. These are events. These are supposed to be parties. They're about innovation. They're not supposed to be grindy ceremonies where they're dull and uninteresting and unhelpful for everyone, are they?
Well, particularly when you look at the Agile, obviously the Agile context is really about creative, complex problems. So when you are trying to engage teams with complex problems, you need that element of creativity. You need to be able to think, it's a catchphrase, isn't it? But thinking outside the box, but just with constraints, but also just helping exercise the brain to use those constraints in a different way and to challenge us into a different way of thinking.
Brilliant. Oh, let's do one more. This is so much fun. Let's do one more. Come on, give me one more. I can't wait. I love this.
Again, I'll shuffle the deck, Nigel. You can see me shuffling. Completely random. We haven't rehearsed this, Nigel, have we? We've got. It's just people can probably tell. We've got no idea what's going to come next. Let's see how we go. Ready for another one? Here we go. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. This one might be a bit more of a challenge, Nigel, online, but we'll have a go.
Okay.
Right. Players should split. This is called blind portraits.
Okay.
This players should split up into pairs. We've done that. Each player must draw their partner in 3 minutes without looking at your paper.
Oh.
The player reading this card will also be the timekeeper. Once the time box is complete, players can exchange drawings with their partner. The idea is to look at your partner as well, right? So you've got to look into the camera, look at me, and then try and draw my picture, my portrait, on the paper without looking at the pen.
3 minutes, but let's do that on fast forward. Okay, time's up. Ready? I haven't looked at mine. I'm just going to show mine to the camera without even looking. Ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, that's quite good. Let's see what mine looks like.
Look at you, this is amazing, Nige.
That's good.
That's really good.
That's good. Mine's really good. I did not look.
That's like better than you were drawing with your eyes open.
That's really good. That's really good. I didn't expect you to do that to be that good. It's really good. Right, so the idea is
that's really good. I'm really impressed with myself. I've caught myself being really impressed with myself on camera. That's really good. I'm going to shout to the camera one more time. There you go, camera. Look at that. He's even got I've even done the without looking. Not one look.
That's good, and it's like almost like it's like abstract. It's like Picasso. The eyes are slightly moving out of the head.
Oh, I look like your little beard then as well. Oh.
It's really good.
Oh, wow.
So let me read this bit off the card. It says, the result here is not what matters, although clearly it does, Nige. The whole focus here lies in observation and what surrounds us and the ability to notice details. You will also be forced to look at your partner and get comfortable with other players. So basically it's like you're staring, but you're not staring. You're staring in a good way.
In a non-creepy way. Well, I would have loved to have put you in a John Travolta Saturday Night Fever shirt, but it's just a stretch of my ability to stretch too far.
But again, the idea with that's a slightly different type of game in the pack, but it's about trying to create safety. So the idea of you can start to build a bit more rapport, a bit more trust, if you can, just drawing someone without judging, without judging their abilities. I'm just seeing you saying what I see and drawing what I see, and taking that blind element to it as well. You can't see your pen. Just makes it again that little bit more safer. You can't really be judged, even though you've got an amazing talent there, Nigel.
Well, these are brilliant. That's 2 great tips for people to use straight away. That's great. Where can they get hold of the rest of them?
So these have just literally gone on sale a few weeks ago. So these are pretty much just gone out the door. So you can find If you just look on Amazon, you can find, just search for the Sprint Planning Kickstart. You can find them on my Amazon page. And that's on amazon.co.uk and amazon.com.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Paul. That's absolutely fantastic. What a great way to kickstart a sprint planning. What a great way to kickstart Christmas.
Brilliant. I enjoyed that, Nigel.
Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it. I'll see you again soon.
Excellent. See you soon. Cheers, Nigel.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas, everyone. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas. I love that last session, and I have to admit, I was inordinately proud of that drawing. So next up is Aislinn Green, another one of my oldest Agile friends, and she's been an Agile coach as long as I have. She's worked all over the UK and Ireland in many big corporations, bringing her realistic and pragmatic style of Agile to people. Now, I don't think Aislinn talks herself up enough, unlike some of us. And so this is my little chance to give her a bit of a push. I think she's brilliant. I've known her a long time. I think you will too. And to be honest, I can't wait to see what her little Agile Christmas present is. 'Twas the night before planning, and all through the office, post-its were flying and POs were cautious. The vision was hung by the team wall with care, in the hope they would be influenced by it there. The Scrum Master was prepped with empirical data, whilst the team had dreams of delivering a beta. Customers were waiting to hear the next features, so they could set it onto their teachers. When outside the office there arose such a clatter, the Scrum team went out to see what was the matter. There stood consultants with their methods and tools. They treated the team like they were their fools. With their playbooks and processes they confused everyone. The team tried to push back, but the damage was done. The bosses were impressed by the PowerPoints and terms. The team were in disarray with the advice of the firms. Now Jira, now Confluence, now SharePoint and Teams, on journeys, on PIs, on epics and themes, to innovation, to design thinking, to stories on walls. Now plan away, plan away, plan away all. Taking all that is good, but twisting it so that it no longer resembles anything we know. More planning, more team members, more training and coaching, more consultants and fees and idea poaching. So take heed of this cautionary tale. Be careful of those just looking for a sale. There are lots of good coaches who can guide you on your way, being inclusive of all and letting the team have their say. It's not everything is broke or everything is bad. Take care that the changes don't make the team sad. So keep your team happy and business goals tight. And happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. So, Richard Cheng is an Agile trainer based in Washington, D.C., where he has to work with big opportunities, big risks, and big problems at the heart of American government and all their associated issues.
Hi, happy holidays. Agile Rich here, wishing everyone the best over the winter holidays. I am presenting to you an Agile tip for the new year. Agile tip number 1, break your task down to be completable within 1 day or less. As most of you know, user stories / product backlog items can be broken up smaller into tasks. My holiday recommendation, tasks should be completable within 1 day or less. The reason being, nothing kills a sprint more than having a 3-day task, getting to the end of day 3, and the dev team member saying, hey, we need 2 more days on this. That's a sprint killer. So rather than doing that, if your tasks are completable within a day or so, as soon as the task hits the in progress column on the task board, if it doesn't get completed within a day or 2, we know something's wrong, and we as a team can quickly give help to unstick that task, so there is always traction across your task board. Enjoy.
Oh, God, that was quick. Okay, The next person's Geoff Watts. The next video is Geoff Watts. Now, Geoff is a pivotal person in my life. He introduced me to Agile, and if he hadn't helped me out, I'd be a very different person in a very different place. He's now an author of some famous books like Scrum Mastery, Product Mastery, Team Mastery, Coach's Casebook. And his Agile present to me was as fascinating as they've always been. This is a bit of a long video, but I think you'll enjoy it. I'll see you in a minute. Hi, Geoff.
Hi there, Nige.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Ho, ho, ho. This idea of this video is going to be all about sort of Christmas presents or gifts to the world. So what's your idea of a gift?
Obviously, we can't really do physical gifts. We have in the past. Last year, I made you your very own Agile pear cider.
It was wonderful. It was very, very nice as well.
Nothing as extravagant as this, but I was thinking, how can we make more of a gifty type experience in a more distant way? So I thought I'd gift you a service.
Ooh.
So my services are my gift to you in the coaching capacity. So if you've got anything you would like some really quick coaching on, then I'm here for you.
Okay, so you want do you want like a situation I'm having at the moment?
Well, yeah, if you've got anything going on and maybe Christmas related that you think you're not quite sure how to deal with, or it's you're in two minds about, or
What am I gonna do for Christmas Day and the family?
okay. So what have you? Why is that a problem? Why is that an issue? Haven't you got it all sorted?
Well, some of our viewers across the world may not know, but there are some rules and regulations in the UK at the moment about Christmas dinners, and I'm afraid to say all the family units I have exceed that number. We're allowed 3 groups together, and I don't know how to make it work because there's too many groups.
So you're not talking about the nuclear family, you're talking extended family.
Extended family, my brothers, my sisters, my in-laws. How are we going to make that all work?
Okay, and what do you normally do?
So normally we go down to the in-laws nearly every Christmas really and hang out with them. There's 5 of them. So there's quite a lot of in-laws, quite a lot of children. And now there's an even larger amount of grandchildren.
So in total, how many people are we talking about now?
Oh gosh, 20?
20. And the rules are?
3 family groups.
3 family groups. Okay. So has that got room for interpretation there, or?
So I think there is some room for interpretation, I think. So for instance, I think 3 of them are pretty much a bubble. And so they count as a family unit.
Okay. All right. And when you say you want to make it work, what does work mean?
Well, I think that's a really interesting. What does work mean for me? Well, I think work means for me is a Christmas that works in that it is fun, it is pleasant, it is family based, it is warm, it is giving. So the Christmas feels like it's a real Christmas event, and people don't feel like they've missed out.
Okay. So fun, pleasant, warm, giving. People don't feel like they've missed out. Okay. So what have you already thought of and discounted?
Already thought of and discounted. Well, of course, you could just break the law, break the rules, everyone get together. But that's not the kind of guy I am. That's not the kind of person I am. It's not the example I want to set for my children, my kids. And so I thought, I don't want to do that. I don't want to break the rules. Or we could just fly solo, in this lovely house with the tree and everything, and just have the nuclear family here. But I feel the kids would miss out. They're going to miss their cousins and everything that they love to play with. And so what I'm trying to do is find some middle ground in there.
Okay, all right. So some middle ground, and it's specifically Christmas Day that you want to.
Yeah, Christmas Day. I think that Christmas Day event, that sort of Christmas meal event, I think is the key one.
Okay, all right, cool. So you thought about breaking the law, and you thought about just staying the 4 of you, neither of which really appeals, and you want something in the middle. All right. So I said I might use a prop, and I'll be honest, I am a little bit stumped. Not quite sure where to go next. So what I've got is I've got my coaching app. All right. So I will. Yeah. Basically, I've got an Agile coaching cards app, which has got a number of different decks on it for different situations, from planning poker to retrospectives to all sorts of different things. But I'm going to focus on some coaching questions. So I've been trying to coach you, and so far I've just been trying to get the data, really, just to find out what the situation is, what your options are, what your constraints are, what your goal is, things like that. But in terms of helping you move forward, I've got a number of cards. I'm just going to select things at random here and see what comes up. So shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. The first one that came up was, how are you potentially unconsciously sabotaging your own situation?
Oh, interesting. So how would I be subconsciously sabotaging this situation? Well, I do know I don't totally dislike the idea of Christmas here. So I would say that the idea of the nuclear Christmas in our house, I think, would be kind of fun, to be honest. And so maybe that isn't the big fear that it should be for me or others, I think. Okay. That would be the way I think that one, yeah.
Interesting.
Now, I could, as a coach, see if you wanted to follow that thread further, or I could throw another one out there and see if that takes you.
Let's try another one. This is really good. Let's try another one.
All right. So you mentioned this one it says what aligns more closely with your values and goals, and you've already mentioned that one of your values isn't breaking the law. So what are your values, and how could you align more with them?
So I think my values would be, I think it's family, it's engagement, it's community. So how could I align with them more? It would be nice if we could make a suggestion on the idea. It would be nice if we could sort of say, hey, here's something positive we can all do, rather than just sort of follow the crowd into it. So if I was aligned, I think that would be something I'd like.
That value, that sounds a little bit like proactive, sort of yes and style. Yeah, so you want to be proposing a solution rather than somebody who's finding a problem or a barrier.
Yeah, I don't want to be the blocker. We don't want to be the blockers of an answer. So we would like to be sort of helping out and getting to that answer ourselves.
Yeah.
Is there any other aspects of your personality that you would say partially or to a large degree define who you are?
What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What are your quirks as a person?
In terms of this conversation?
Just in general.
Oh, I like Christmas. I like all the paraphernalia of Christmas, the regalia, the silliness, the triteness, the slightly pastiche nature of it all. I really like that. That's something that the kitsch. That's something that I really enjoy.
Interesting.
Okay, so is the fact that you might not be in the same physical location going to limit
your ability to be kitsch, to be fun, to be silly?
I think, you know what, it may not. Maybe if we could do something in the online space, that could be interesting. I think we'd have to organise it. We couldn't just sort of go for the flow. We'd have to do something serious on it. But maybe something like that, perhaps, could work. You know, something bringing the whole group together on something like that, I think could be fun, definitely.
So what might that look like then?
Well, I would imagine it would have to be some form of something organised, because otherwise it will fall apart. Some idea of a Christmas quiz, maybe.
All right. So there's obviously the technological side of things, and that's something that you have a skill in, right? You're pretty good with technology, gadgets, and things like that. Something that could form part of your yes and.
Yeah, definitely. We could definitely offer something up like that, like a Christmas quiz or something, and we could do some organisation on it to actually do that Christmas quiz. That could be really fun for everyone, getting them engaged, getting them seeing each other, definitely.
Yeah. So
who do you think would most like you to ask them for help?
Do you know what? I think everyone would. I think everyone really wants to be the people who are coming to the rescue, sort of contributing to it. I don't think there's anyone that really wants to be led. I think everyone wants to be involved in the solution. I really think that. I really think that. So what I would want to have to do is, if we're going to suggest something technology based, like a quiz, we're all going to have to take turns. You know, we're all going to have to contribute a chunk of it. We can't just have one of us doing it. Each family group will have to contribute something to it, so we all feel like we're leading our way through and all giving something to the experience, I think.
Okay.
Is that something you think you could run with?
Definitely could run with that. Definitely. I think that'd be really, really good fun.
Is it like a warm, enjoyable, family, inclusive Christmas?
And we could do it on Christmas night, and that way we can always add a few of the Christmas mulled wine to the situation as well.
Yes, and I like.
I like that one as well. Thanks, Geoff. That's been really good. Thank you, Geoff.
One more thing, Nigel. So the app is free to download, and there are some free decks on there and loads of free cards and stuff. But there's like 20, almost 25 decks there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Christmas special price for your viewers. If you download the app, then you can buy a Christmas bundle at a really discounted price.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Geoff. Thank you so much.
Right. Have a great time.
You too. Have a Merry Christmas, mate. Take care.
All right.
Bye. Wreaths. A sign of Christmas, a sign of funerals. Both representing eternal life. The beginning and the end being joined together. Well, now we've got Karim Harbott, who's going to talk to us about Agile coaching. Some may say the dark side, the end of Agile coaching, or you could say the rebirth.
So, do you know what it takes to become an Agile coach? That's right. Step 1, update your LinkedIn profile. Step 2, profit. So, how? With the bar so low that the biggest danger is that you trip over it, can we tell the aces from the jokers? It's a minefield. But fear not, because I'm here to help you out. I'm going to be giving you 4 clues that you might need to ask Father Christmas for a new Agile coach. So let's dive straight in. Clue number 1. They have 15 years of project management experience, 3 months of experience as a Scrum Master before mysteriously metamorphosizing into an Agile coach overnight. Experience is crucial. All right, you can't just wake up one day and be a seasoned Agile coach. It takes many, many years to get even competent, never mind truly effective as an Agile coach. So this is the easiest one to spot for you. Check the CV. If it reads project manager the whole way through, you know they're probably at the start of their journey. Clue number 2, they have a preferred framework. And everything is all about that framework. Need to write an email? Well, Scrum, obviously. Making breakfast? Scrum. You're going to do this thing? It's all about Scrum, or less, or safe, or Kanban. Okay, a good Agile coach understands context and can understand your problem and help you with the right approach for you. And they have a toolkit with a bunch of really cool tools in there that they can pull out the right one and advise effectively. Anyone who is too wedded to a single approach is probably someone that you want to steer clear of. And if that single approach is the Spotify model, run a mile. Clue number 3, processes and tools over individuals and interactions. You know the one, the Agile coach whose head is in Jira. Other collaboration tools are available. All right, they are working on customizing the Jira workflow, on updating the board, on changing the fields. They spend so much time in Jira, they probably don't even know the names of the people on the teams they're working with. Less focus on the tool, more focus on the people and the interactions between those people, on trust, on psychological safety, on communication, on collaboration, on so many awesome things. The tools are a tiny little part. Which brings us to our 4th and final clue. The Agile coach who doesn't know how to coach. Yes, there are 2 words in Agile coach, and one of them isn't Agile. Being able to coach is fundamental to being an Agile coach. Understanding the basics of how to help people get the best out of themselves, how to help teams get the best out of themselves, how to help leaders of the organization get the best out of themselves is core to the practice of Agile coaching. If you have an Agile coach who doesn't understand coaching, at best you have an Agile consultant, probably you just have a generic consultant who doesn't understand Agile or coaching. So be aware of the coach that cannot coach. So there it is, my 4 clues that you need to ask Father Christmas for a new Agile Coach, but be quick. I'm told he doesn't have that many to go around. I hope that was useful. I hope you have a wonderful Merry Christmas and an even better 2021.
Roman has for years focused on becoming a leading voice in Agile product management space with such books as Agile Product Management with Scrum, Strategize, and the new How to Lead in Product Management. I thought I'd better mention these because he didn't want to mention them in his video. Now, Roman has done a lot of work helping support and build the Agile product management community. I'm very glad to have him on this video to have a fun little chat, bringing up Agile product management, product owner, and Christmas, and mash them all together for our silly little fireside chat. Hi Roman, how are you?
Hey Nigel, I'm all right. How are you doing?
Oh, it's freezing here. You can see outside. Oh. I've been asking everyone for little Agile Christmas presents or Christmas thoughts. I wonder what yours are in terms of product ownership and Christmas.
Well, you know me. I'm just very biased towards what I do. So when I hear Christmas, I think about who owns it. What about Christmas ownership? Who's the owner? And what value does it create? So, you know, first things that come to mind for some reason.
So, in terms of product ownership then, is Santa Claus product owner of Christmas?
Yeah, that's a very good question. You know, who is the owner? And if Santa Claus is the owner, what should Santa Claus be empowered to do? I guess Santa Claus is a he. So what should he be empowered to do? What can he decide? I mean, can he freely decide what presents to hand out, or does he have to go through the list of letters that we've written and fulfill our requirements and requests?
I remember as a kid, I asked for a gun, and Santa Claus never gave me that, did he? And I was nearly 6 years old.
So he rejected your request, but he didn't openly and clearly communicate why he did it and what the reason was.
Well, in terms of Christmas, are the children product owners?
I think they're the stakeholders. They must be the stakeholders.
Could you expand on that a little, please?
Or maybe they're not the stakeholders. Maybe the parents are the stakeholders. Let me think about this. And the children are the users. But then who are the customers? Who's paying?
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, the kids are the users because they'll use the presents and play with the presents, right? And then, I guess the parents are paying. And are we paying for the Christmas presents for our kids that then Santa Claus delivers to them? I guess so. So then the kids are the users. The parents are the customers. Where are the stakeholders then?
The elves. The elves and the reindeer. You see, this is interesting for me. You see, because we get this in real life all the time, don't we? These product owners who don't own all of it, they can't make all the decisions, they've got to involve their stakeholders. They've got to involve their customers. And sometimes their customers are not their users. These kids aren't paying for these toys, are they?
I think, as you said, Nigel, there's often a lot of confusion about what is being owned and who owns the what. So, what is a product? Some people mistake a feature or a component, so a part of a product for a product. Some people mistake a collection of products, a product portfolio, a family for a product. And I think that's where the confusion starts. And it then leads on to uncertainty around, okay, now even if we agree on a product, then who should own that product and what does it mean? Does it mean to be responsible for the details and make the tactical decisions and execute and manage the product backlog and write some user stories and work with a team of elves, I guess, to get the toys built, the product built? Or should there be more to it?
Because there's like three ways of looking at value here, isn't there? There's Santa Claus who wants his user bases to be happy, his cohorts to be happy. And that's not just the children, is it? That's also the parents. It could even be the elves and the reindeer. But looking within those groups, those parents, they particularly want their children to be happy. And the children want to be happy themselves. And so potentially those different cohorts could have different reasons and different ways of being happy. So I guess Santa Claus is going to have to come up with some way of measuring happiness.
But I mean, usually when you think of a product or when you think of a service, I mean, again, as you said, it'll be important to understand who should be the beneficiaries. What target group, market segment are we going for? So who are the parents? Who are the children? And then what are their specific needs, or what is the specific benefit that we want to offer? And can we describe it in such a way that we can later understand how, if we've managed to meet the benefit or not, and make some meaningful decisions about how we're going to offer that benefit. And then I guess Santa Claus, if Santa Claus was a commercial operation or owned a business, then Santa Claus would have to think about, what does my business get out of the service that I'm offering, or by me handing out all these presents. Is it to generate value? Is it to market and sell another product? I'm not sure what that could be. Easter, maybe? No. Or reduce cost? Probably not in the case of Santa Claus. But again, that have to be a tangible benefit for the business.
So thinking about it a bit more, I think Santa Claus could be really interested in sort of belief, couldn't he? That's really his measure, his belief. He needs people to believe in him. If they believe in him, he gets more energy. And if no one believes in him, then I'm afraid to say poor old Santa is gone. And looking at that in the real world, how do we measure? Belief's kind of like brand, isn't it, really? The brand of the product. That's a huge factor in many companies. Coca-Cola, for instance, I've heard it said that the vast majority of Coca-Cola's share price is actually in their brand, not necessarily in their bottling. Yeah, so a lot of companies have to work with intangibles or different ways of looking at value. I know a lot of us would love it to be just purely money, revenue, profit, whatever. But I'm afraid to say a lot of companies don't work with that. Maybe because of the structure or the direction of the organization, maybe a non-profit, maybe a charity, maybe it's hard to measure those things. Maybe it's slightly more intangible, like happiness or brand or something along the lines of that. I guess that makes Santa Claus not a traditional entrepreneur.
Yeah, he might be. But I think whatever it is, it's helpful to understand what we mean by value. So you look at a framework like Scrum, and Scrum's always, certainly for a number of years, suggested that the job of a Scrum product owner is to maximize the value that a product creates. And a maybe more traditional definition of what a product person should do is to make and keep the product successful and achieve product success. Essentially that is the same thing, but it's kind of difficult to succeed when I don't know what is value. What is the specific value my product should create? And similarly, what do I mean by success? How do I know that my product has become successful? And again, I think it all goes back to that value proposition, to saying, why would anybody want to use that product? Why would anybody want Santa Claus to exist? Why would anybody want Santa Claus to bring presents and shove them through the chimney, or deliver them at least that way? It seems. What's the reason?
So are there tools out there that will help people have this sort of conversation?
There's my Santa Claus product board out there, of course. No. A number of tools out there that can help you get clarity what the value is that a product creates. So there's Alexander Osterwalder's value proposition. A tool that I created a number of years ago is the product vision board that encourages people to say, what is the vision, the overarching purpose of a product, and then what is the specific value the product should create? Who are the users? What makes the product stand out? Those good things. So for those of you who haven't used these tools, maybe something to look into.
So Roman, is there any other way for people to find more out about you or the things you do?
Sure, yes. Yeah. So if you're more interested in my thoughts, check out my website, romanpichler.com. So you'll find some thoughts, some advice, some tips on product management and product ownership. I don't think much on Christmas, unfortunately. So you'll have to go somewhere else for that.
Thank you, Roman, for taking your lens of product ownership and casting it across the world of Christmas. And by the way, with that little silver beard and that hat, maybe you could be product owner.
Oh, thank you for that, Nigel. And I'm looking forward to that new job.
Merry Christmas, Roman. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Do you know what? After a big Christmas dinner, it's lovely to sit down in your lounge and watch a bit of television. Maybe the Queen's speech, a huge tradition in the UK. Well, we don't have any Agile royalty, do we? But we do have some great servant leaders. So I've asked Melissa Boggs, co-CEO of the ScrumAlliance and Chief ScrumMaster, to come along and speak to us. Oh wait, it's just about to start. Let me get it on. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Oh, it's so good to see you.
So great to see you too. Thanks for joining us here. I really appreciate you coming on. I wanted to get your idea as from the position you're in at the moment, or the lead figures in the ScrumAlliance. What do you think at the moment about like Agile and Christmas?
Agile and Christmas. I mean, it's the end of a very unprecedented year, shall we say? And I think a lot about obviously family, but it's going to look a little bit different this year, right? For a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about how, in light of that, we might be working overtime, so to speak, to make things perfect. Like if we can't all be together, then I want to send the perfect gifts to my family, or I want to wrap them perfectly, or I want to go, way beyond the normal in order to kind of compensate for what we're used to. And at the same time, I can't help but think that, like, we talk a lot about sustainable pace in our world, and we're already all perhaps on the verge of burnout. I'm reading a really neat book right now about burnout, and it just makes me think that this is not the time for us to be overcompensating for the year that we had no control over. And so, when I think about Agile and Christmas, I think about what are the things we could learn from work, from the values and principles that we use at work. How can we translate them to home to better take care of ourselves and our families?
Mm-hmm.
And, how does this all come together at the end of this just insane year? How do we translate those things?
Yeah, because if you think about the sort of agile principles and how we live them, you and I both know there are many coaches out there that talk principles but don't live them so well. Things like sustainable pace. We pledge it to teams, we advocate it to the people we work with. Yet then you see coaches on the road every day of the year, burning themselves up. So do you think sort of sustainable pace could be a key thing this Christmas?
Absolutely. And I think I talk about this a lot. This has been one of my sort of passion topics for the last 3 or 4 years. I always refer to Brene Brown talking about exhaustion not being a status symbol. And I think that applies now. When I've talked with different organizations and different individuals on this topic, the thing that we often discover is there are always explicit policies, right, that might lead you down, things like billable time, that lead you down a road toward exhaustion being a status symbol. But there's also these implicit policies that we don't necessarily talk about or even recognize are encouraging us to, keep going down the road of burnout until it's too late. And so I do wonder, are there explicit and implicit policies that we have at home that are reinforcing, oh, you just gotta keep going, and you have to do 5 different Christmas markets and you have to wrap 200 presents perfectly. What are these implicit policies that we might have even just for ourselves?
Yeah, because it's so interesting. Thinking of my own life, I know my wife's recently been talking about being a water buffalo. So we've just got to keep going in times of trouble, keep wading through the mud, which I think is quite a positive point of view. But then we've got to be careful because sometimes at home, I've known many people who they'll say, "Oh, you're working really hard. Well done. I can see you putting a lot of effort in. Well done." And of course, whilst we like effort and we like people to try, we don't want to be slackers. The trouble is that is encouraging that activity, keep working, keep burning model. And that maybe this time of year at Christmas, it's I don't know, maybe it's a more of an agile principle of reflection time as well. Reflecting and adjusting how we work and taking that into account. So in terms of reflection then, how do you think we could handle that in terms of Christmas?
So I hope that most of us, I know this won't be the case for everyone, but most of us have some version of a break, coming up, a few days off around the holidays, whatever your holiday might be. And I in my own life, school with my children, I have a grade 6 and a grade 9. School has been really hard this semester. My kids are generally really great students, but online has been rough on them, rough on us. And so the thing that we've been talking about just in the last few days is this is their last week. And yes, we got to push through. They got to get through their finals or through their projects. But come Friday, like all bets are off. Like we're not going to push through our holiday break.
Yeah.
We're not going to go crazy, trying to plan for next term. We're just not.
Yeah.
We're going to choose to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
We're also not going to put a lot, some of the things I just alluded to. We're not going to try to do 25 different, virtual Christmas shows that we watch. Like we're going to be very selective about, what's important for our family. I think the awareness is probably the most important thing, like actually having the discussions between this is important to our family or this is an obligation.
It's like prioritization, isn't it? It's kind of like you have to have these hygiene features in there, even though you don't want to. Old Auntie Ethel, so you've got to, yes, gosh, I've never even thought of it that way, in terms of sort of value, like what's value this Christmas? Historically, for me, value's been about making people happy. I'm a people pleaser, and that's my personality flaw, right? We always joke, Geoff Watts talks a lot about imposter syndrome, people who feel imposter syndrome, and the horrible secret I've got is I've never felt imposter syndrome in my life. Never. It's a personality flaw, but I'm a people pleaser. I will do anything to make people happy. And so a lot of the joy I get from Christmas is pleasing. Presents. I give my children too much, but I didn't have much. And so it gives me great pleasure to please others. But in this Christmas, maybe we need to curate that a bit more. Value this Christmas may not be, it may be spreading joy like we always do, but on a smaller stakeholder group, maybe.
I mean, this will be the first time that my little family, we're a family of 4, has actually spent Christmas just the 4 of us. And there's definitely some sadness about that. I mean, both my and my husband's parents are wonderful people, and we will miss them dearly, and we will absolutely do some sort of Zoom connection with them. But there's probably 30 other opportunities to have a Zoom connection with other families and other friends, all of whom I love. But I am on Zoom 9 hours a day, every single day. And I'm not sure, I necessarily want to spend all day Christmas on Zoom. So, it's also about like, what's, this is going to be a stretch, Nigel, but like, what's the MVP of that? Like, instead of doing 25 different Zoom calls, can we do one Zoom call? And if you want to join, you got 15 minutes to join.
I've been thinking exactly the same thing. I didn't want to say it. It's completely about MVP. It's about working out the values and finding that thinnest slice this Christmas. And again, this is where it's so funny how it aligns so much. Because for a lot of people in work, MVP is abused. It means, pardon my language, shit. We'll do a shit version. And what none of us want is a shit Christmas. We want MVP, we want thin. Okay, we've got to curate it down, do what we can do to get by. We're probably going to have to do the same thing. And so it's just making sure that that is a good, viable Christmas. MVC, minimum viable Christmas.
Christmas. I love it. And I think, what is the value of, what do we get? Like, what's the nugget that we get when we do go and spend all this time with our aunts and uncles and all of this extended family? How can that translate? But how can that translate in a slice?
Yeah.
And not trying to do that with, 50 different Zoom calls all day on Christmas.
This is what I think. Incremental and iterative. Okay, now if you think the last is a stretch, this may be a stretch, but I generally think we're going to have to start spacing this out and stop thinking so much about Christmas as being the drop dead deadline of joy, and then joy is dead until sort of Easter, and actually start thinking about how we're going to spread this out. In the UK where I am, vaccinations, I've got a text on it a minute ago, vaccinations are starting. So hopefully life will start defrosting across the world in Q1 and we can start reaching out. Why do I have to wait till Christmas before I see my aunties and uncles? That's silly. I can go see them during the year, and maybe it's a bit more of that as well. So sustainable pace, reflection and adjustment, value, prioritization, and sort of frequent contact may be the way to get through this stuff.
I agree. I love that.
Oh, that's good. This has been good. This has been good. I feel energized. I feel my heart's growing, and I feel I've got real practical things I can do to get a great Christmas. Oh, thank you, Melissa. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So now we come to my Christmas gift for you all. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Oh, should I stop? Okay. Yeah, maybe no one needs me singing, do they? So what's my Agile Christmas present for everyone? It's an online training course. I've got one available for you. I wrote it a couple of years ago on Agile organizational change for Agile coaches. It's been quite popular, and I'm making it available to all of you at the discount Christmas fee of free. Yeah, that's it. No cost at all, completely free. I've uploaded it to YouTube. All you need to do is click the link round the screen somewhere, and you can go watch around 13 videos on Agile organization change for Agile coaches. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of material, and I hope you'll find it useful, and I hope you'll find it helpful in your work. All I'm left to say is thank you so much for watching this lot. Thank you to all the volunteers for giving that Agile Christmas time and that Agile Christmas experiences and giving you some little Agile Christmas presents. And all I'm left to do is say thank you for watching. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have also. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Goodbye everyone, Merry Christmas.
Next episode, Safecracker.